I got one Dear Denny for you this week. Do Cup teams usually have unused sets of tires left at the end of a weekend? And if so, should NASCAR reduce the tire allotment? The limited sets in trucks and Xfinity are a major storyline most weeks, yet this doesn't seem talked about as much in Cup.
Should they limit the amount of tires? I would say no, because I don't know that you want it to be that be the differentiator. I'm more of a fan of actually having different compounds, and letting the teams figure out when they want to run them. Listen, we got to get one good compound first before we start diving into multiple. But interesting fact, and I had to phone a friend on this one. Give credit to Chris Gabehart on it. I didn't, as a team owner, we always kind of look at costs and everything. And so he gave me a staggering fact that I did not know. So when you say we go to Texas this weekend, they give us 8 sets of tires. If we use 6, we don't get a rebate on those 2. Now, I knew all this, but I'll get to the staggering fact. So we do not get reimbursed for those tires. You can use them if we take that tire to another track. So, for instance, the Texas tire is the same as the Kansas tire. So we could, if we have a leftover set, $2,400 a piece or whatever they might be, we can't just turn them back into Goodyear and get a refund. They tell us, you're buying these sets of tires and they're yours now, and you can do whatever you want with them. So at the end of the day, what we do is we have an extra set. We will put them back at Champion, and they will they'll put them in inventory. And so if we go to Kansas, let's say we go to Kansas next weekend, or, we likely would tap into that extra set and say, okay, we're going to practice on those tires. But if Kansas is 3-4 months down the road, we're not going to want old date coats. So we're not going to want older tires, because they age. Rubber ages and it changes compounds, and it's funny when you get older tires. It's just that can really mess up a car. So it just goes to waste. And sometimes you can work with some backmarker cars and sell them to them to try to reimburse some of your costs back. But Jared, do you know how much JGR had in extra tire inventory in the first year of Next Gen 2022? How much money worth of tires was spent and never ran?
Do you want me to make an educated guess? Because I know the answer.
I know. You're supposed to act like you don't know the answer.
Oh, I don't know. $100,000?
No, you were wrong. Nearly $1 million. Nearly $1 million worth of tires that JGR, the team, spent on tires that it never ran. That is incredible.
So $250,000 per car.
Yes, sir. So we keep talking about cutting costs. How about we just get a refund for the tires we don't use? Like, can they go back in the recycling bin, Goodyear? Please take them back. It's just wasted money. And holy, I didn't realize the number was that high. But man, we got something new we need to start advocating for, and that is allowing us to return our tires we don't use. Put them back in the mixer at Goodyear and remake the tire for later down the road or something. But holy, as much money as we spent on tires, $1 million worth of unused tires. Holy crap! Talking about helping the race teams, help us there, because that is a waste.
I think you were stunned when he said it, because you had him repeat it, right? You couldn't believe that number.
I couldn't believe it, but he says in 2022, first year of Next Gen, that was how much they had in unused inventory in 1 year. So that's pretty crazy. So yeah, It's on you. When you buy them, they don't care whether you use them or not. They've got the purchase, and you have to figure out how to either use them yourself in a future race or race weekend, which never happens because you don't. If it's 2 or 3 months down the road before we use that compound again, we're not going to use them. They're just too old. They're going to be slower. Or you have to sell them to a team in the back that really doesn't care about speed that much.
Right. But you're kind of forced to buy these. You can't just...
Yeah,
you
you have to buy
Someone's going to
them.
listen to this podcast and be like, well, how about you just buy less tires?
Well, okay, within 20 laps to go, we need a pit for tires and we don't have any. Like, that's just... yeah, that's not an option, folks. Sorry. Everyone buys the maximum set.
Now, why
Sets allowed.
don't they... So I was under the impression, actually, that Goodyear brought all the tires to the track every weekend, which is why those Goodyear trucks are there filled with tires. They bring the tires to the track every weekend, and then they distribute the tires to the team. So if on the Texas weekend, each team gets 9 sets of tires, they distribute those 9 sets of tires to the team, and then they charge them for whatever the cost is of those 9 sets.
2,400%. Yep.
And then if all the teams only use 8 sets, then they would just take back those set of tires and...
That seems logical, Jared.
Give
But
you
that's
the money.
It's a great business strategy for Goodyear.
no doubt.
you buy it, but you didn't use it.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about that's for one team, $250,000. Now, not every team has that much unused inventory, but let's just say it's $200,000 times 36 teams. Is that $5 million in
We haven't
wasted money?
We haven't had a guest on this year, and Travis has asked a couple times in the chat in our group text, who Denny would like to have on. I think we need to have a Goodyear representative on. These are just general questions I'm curious of. Like, why don't they sell these tires to the teams?
Because they can
by
make money,
use?
Jared.
I mean, I get it, but again, it just seems
Everyone's
like
trying to make money. I don't know. It
doesn't
seem
this is-
fair.
We're
for sure.
progressing the sport forward if everyone's trying to one up each other. I don't know.
No, I mean, it's a point for sure. I mean, we keep cutting this, cutting that, but that is wasteful money for sure. And it seems like there should be a better solution than just saying you didn't use it and you're stuck with those tires. Sorry, you figure out how to get rid of them.
How much would that $250,000 per car make a difference at the end of the year on your team's budget?
We'd have $250,000 more that we wouldn't lose. So I'd save $125,000 of my own money. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, every little bit helps. I mean,
Could be spent on bonuses for employees, improvements in the shop, all sorts of...
lots of things. I mean,
How would you
lodging.
invest it in the sport?
that's what they want to know. It's not a hard task for sure. It certainly...
Does it cost more money?
The engine bills are the same. I've been saying this forever.